There's a storm across the valley. The clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
Welcome to Community Forum. Today is February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day to all of those out there who show and receive love. 2023. I'm Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, your host, wishing you all a very happy Valentine's Day. May you get many chocolates and flowers, or simply kisses and good wishes. And today, this is a continuous series called Introduction to Easton's Clergy. And today we are very happy to have Pastor Bob Sheldon of the Easton Baptist Church, located on Bay Road in Northeastern, who is my guest. So welcome, Bob. Pastor Bob.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me here.
You're welcome. So tell me a little bit of, I understand you've been pastor of the Easton Baptist Church for 18 years. I think you're the number one in the town in terms of clergy's longevity. Isn't that right?
Probably, yeah. I'm from New York, and when I came here, I was always the new guy. But yeah, I've been here 18 years. We love Easton, and we enjoy serving the Lord in this community.
Yeah, well, I hear very good vibes from Frank Menino, who was just retired as curator at Easton Historical Society, who speaks so proudly of you, and I know is very, very active in your church. So tell me a little bit about your background. I see you have a calendar here that your brother made, and there's a very interesting photo on the page. Would you show us to us?
Sure. I have this calendar my brother made, and it has a picture of me when I was 4 years old. And a lot of kids play fireman or doctor. I played church, and so this is me leading a church service as a little kid. So I was one of those fortunate people who knew what they wanted to do at a very early age. And so I always wanted to be a pastor and couldn't imagine doing anything else. And yeah, right out of high school, I went to Bible school and seminary. And then I was a youth pastor for 14 years in upstate New York. And now I've been pastor here for 18 years.
Wow. So where in upstate New York were you?
Outside of Albany. So I was at the First Baptist Church of Westerlo.
Oh, okay. So they probably have snow. We don't have it.
Yeah, there's a lot of cold winters and snowy winters up there in the Helderberg Hill towns.
Well, I had a law practice in Warwick, New York. So that's about 2.5 hours south of where you were. But we always had the snow too. I hope they're getting it now. And Orange County and same county that West Point is located in. So I'm sure many people have familiar with that area. Tell me something. So where did you go to seminary?
So I grew up in Rockland County, which is, you're probably familiar with that.
And adjacent to Orange County.
There you go, yep. And I went to the King's College, which was in Westchester County.
Yep.
And then I went to Alliance Theological Seminary, which is in Nyack, New York, back in Rockland County.
I am familiar with all of those places, especially King's College. Yeah. Okay. So tell me, your first job was as a youth pastor, and what attracted you to that?
Well, I was a Christian teenager, and being part of a church really helped me, and I wanted to give that experience back to other teenagers. So as a youth pastor working with junior high, high school, and college kids, I was able to give back what I experienced, the benefits of being in relationship with Jesus and in relationship with a faith community, being in a church.
So how has that translated into your service here in Easton? What impact has that experience had, do you feel, on your ministry here?
Well, I bring all of that to my ministry here, but the idea of a church being a family, so all ages are important. Even though we're a small church, we are glad that we are multi-generational. So the children, the teens, the young families, middle age, and then the senior saints, all are important. And we all learn from one another, and we all grow. The young need the old, and the vice versa. So we try to say that we are a caring church family.
So do you have multi-generational events so that young people can receive the wisdom of us seniors?
Sure. I mean, we have family Bible school every Sunday, which is, the old-fashioned Sunday school, so that older people can, teach younger. We try to have once a month family meals, the old potluck lunch after church, so that families can eat together. And yeah, we worship together. So a lot of intergenerational play.
Yeah, that's great. So tell me, what are the offerings besides the Bible study you talked about and the meals? Are there any additional offerings? What would you tell people who are listening why they should come and check out Easton Baptist Church?
Sure. We have a heart for missions as well. That is, we're just not interested in our own community, which we are, but we're also interested in others. And one of the exciting things that's going on right now, we're sending a group of 17 down to Guatemala this summer. And it also has some mother-daughter combos. So we have 5 teenage girls and their mothers who are going on this trip, as well as other members of our congregation. So that's intergenerational, as well. We have our annual Easter egg hunt, and that's coming up real soon. And that grew from just a handful about 12, 15 years ago into one of our largest outreach and community events. And the whole community is invited. It's free, and we hide between 3,000 and 5,000 eggs on the property, and each has a little prize or candy inside. So there's special events like that throughout the year that are offered not just to our church family, but to the community.
Yes, and I know most of us know all about that egg hunt. Lots of fun. So what do you think are your challenges currently that you're facing? What do you think?
Well, all churches throughout the nation have faced the challenge of the pandemic. The pandemic, we saw decrease in people who participated in worship services and going to house of worship. We've faced the challenge of the culture, which in many ways, unfortunately, sometimes is antagonistic to the church. But we want to get our message out that everyone is welcome, and our vision statement is to know Jesus, to love Jesus, to share Jesus, and to come and explore. And so everyone's welcome, all ages, all faith backgrounds, and come and explore what the scriptures have to say. So
we talked a little bit earlier before this broadcast about Sunday mornings and how schools and sports leagues have taken away Sunday mornings from many of our families so that they have to make a hard choice whether their kids go to sports practice or games or go to church. And tell me, I know that you have tried without success to change that, but don't you think that schools could have more compromise? I know this is, we're not in a state of affairs in our nation where compromise is the norm. But I think when you have a community like Easton, which feels like a real family, that there should be some tolerance and some dialogue that sports could be in the afternoon.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the afternoon? Why do they have to have the sport practices and games in the morning? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I'm right with you on that, Priscilla. I love sports, and my children, I have a 14-year-old and a 13-year-old who are in the Easton Public Schools, and we love the Easton schools. I think they do a great job. I've also served on the advisory committee for our superintendent, Leisha Cabral, and yeah, our schools do a great job. But yeah, a few years back, I got together with all the other clergy, and Father Jim and I drew up a statement, and I believe we had 10 of the clergy in Easton sign it, and we sent it to all the different sports organizations and the schools, just saying we know what you're doing is very important with sports, but we believe what we're doing with the spiritual education of our children and teens is really important too. And could you respect Sunday mornings and not schedule athletic events till after noon on Sundays? We think that's a reasonable compromise because the spiritual education of our children and teens is really important.
Yeah, it certainly is. But also, together with the teens, go the parents. The parents and the grandparents are going to be at those events to encourage and support their children and grandchildren. So you're not only missing the teens, you're missing their parents and the grandparents, and maybe some neighbors who want to support those kids. So it's a real problem, but it's one that has a very easy solution, doesn't it?
Yeah, like I said, I'm right with you, Priscilla. So keep preaching that with me.
Well, maybe we could speak to Dr. Cabral one more time and see if the sports departments in the schools are open to that. I don't see why. I mean, if it's going to rain, it's going to rain in the morning as well as in the afternoon. So, that can't be an issue. The weather can't be an issue. And I think kids, when they have a well-rounded education, whether it's their spiritual life or their sports life, it's important to growing kids. And so those of you viewers out there who are listening and you have children who are involved in sports, it will matter probably more that you speak out as the parents because you have your children's best interests at heart. And if you don't care, if you don't go to church, don't care, think about the rest of us who really do care. So let your voices be heard. This is a democracy after all. So get out there and state your opinions. Write a letter, send an email, speak to your school committee members. It all can help. So what's your vision for the future?
Well, as I said, our vision statement is to know Jesus, love Jesus, and share Jesus. And we want to keep being faithful to do that. Our vision, while we're happy with some of the projects and programs, we renovated our sanctuary in 2018, and we've done some other great programs, but our vision really is people, and that's what draws me to the ministry, being with people and being with them at some of the hardest times of their life and some of the joyous times of their life. And so, yeah, I do weddings and funerals, and so I'm right there reminding them of the presence of God, the presence of a comforting, caring God in these hard times, but good times. And when you're part of a faith community, you don't have to go through these things alone. You have people to rejoice with you when you're rejoicing, and weep with you when you're weeping. So, I mean, that's really our vision for the future, to keep investing in people, in the younger generation, and then being a community together and trying to live up to our ideal of being a caring church family. And we don't always live up to it, but we try.
Well, of course, that's the standard that you have to have. And part of that is reaching out to others in other parts of the world. It interests me a great deal that you're sending 17 people to Guatemala and trying to help them. One of the biggest problems is that countries like Guatemala have their economic crises, so or gang violence and so forth, that are driving thousands of people from those countries to our borders. And one cannot blame them. I mean, would we stay here if in Easton, if gangs ruled the streets and the police couldn't do anything about it, and our lives were in danger, and maybe someone in our family has already been killed? I mean, I think we don't have a grasp on the reality that many of these people in these Latin American countries are facing. So have you thought about any possible dangers about going down to Guatemala? And if so, how you're protecting your people?
Well, sure. There's always risks when you do good things. I led missions trips when I was a youth pastor in New York. I led missions trips to places like Venezuela and Peru, and currently they would be a lot more dangerous than Guatemala. So we work with mission organizations and nationals down there to ensure the safety of those going down, but you can't take away all risk. So it is always risky to do that. But yeah, we are called to love our neighbor, and whether that's across the street or across the sea, and that's what we try to do. And one thing that we've been involved in for years, Priscilla, is Operation Christmas Child, where we send boxes of hope and joy at Christmas time to different children around the world. And we usually send around 100 per year, but one year, I think it was 2018, we had an emphasis on it, and our little church sent 566 boxes of hope around the world.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that is really an outreach. And is that program still going on?
Yeah, we did it this past year, so that's one of our annual things.
So people might really, who are listening, might like to participate in that. So how would they be able to, they fill a shoebox, right?
Yeah, you fill a shoebox with items, and there's a list, and then it's sent to a distribution center, and then, yeah, they're sent all over the world. And in today's world, you can print out a computer label and track it. Sometimes you find out, sometimes you don't. But it is exciting when you find out, oh, my box went to Africa, or my box went to South America.
Interesting. So tell us the contact information that people should, they just stop by and knock on your door, or do you have a website? So I'm sure you're going to be announcing that project. What is your website?
Sure, you can check out our website. I think I left you some literature here. Let's see where.
Here, this one.
Yeah. So yeah, www.eastonbaptistchurch.org. And then, yeah, our services are also on Facebook Live, if you wanted to check out what our service looks like. Yeah, you can always come knock on the door. I keep regular office hours. I live right in Easton. And as I said, I love Easton, and we've been here the past 18 years. So you can call, you can email, you can go to our website, you can check us out on Facebook. But yeah, we'd love to dialogue with you.
Great. And so, Pastor Bob, we're going to post all the contact information at the end of this broadcast. So, any parting words?
Well, I really appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you having the other clergy on. And as I shared with you, I'm part of the Easton Clergy Association, and we try to work together for the community. We have a Thanksgiving service that all the clergy participate in, that Rabbi Ken Carr started a few years ago. And then we also have an Easton Community Sunrise service, and that is coming up at 6 a.m. at the sheep pasture, and the Christian churches in the town are represented, and
now
we
that's
gathered for worship together at 6 a.m.
We have to tell people that's Easter morning.
Yes.
Okay, now I thought it was changed from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. for some of us who just cannot get up that early.
Yeah, no, it's still 6 a.m. And that enables other people to get to their houses of worship. And some of, I know other churches have some early morning services, so that enables the clergy to get back and get ready for them. So yeah, 6 a.m. is early, but that's when it is. And depending on the year, sometimes we actually do see the sun rise.
Well, I guess that means that I'm going to have to get to bed a lot earlier that night.
We'd love to see you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming today and participating in our program Introduction to Easton's Clergy. I hope those of you who are viewing have been as educated and inspired as I have been about Easton Baptist Church and all the other churches and the synagogue in town, because these are people of faith who are here to serve, and they're here to serve your needs. So check them all out. I hope you're making a list and getting the information so that you can attend and do some church hopping, especially if you're not attending a church at all. So thank you, Pastor Bob.
Thank you.
Sheldon, Easton Baptist Church. Thank you for coming today. We appreciate it. And continued success in your spiritual journey and service here to Easton residents. All the best. Thank you for watching. Priscilla Almquist-Olsen. Be well.